Kanye West is probably the funniest guy on the internet this week.
Yeah, he is. He's having a good time.
And I've been saying forever that like the losing like wild black dudes was going to be the death of the cultural influence of these people, because you know what I mean. The movements became so phenomenal. It's like, is there ever no one changes culture more than black guys? That's just like, I don't even think that's like debatable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like there's a black dudes have a.
I mean, by
huge,
default, they are the trendsetters, so they have to. Almost.
Yeah, and obviously it's not the same everywhere, and
no.
you know, obviously white guys, blah blah blah. It's not like across the board, but that is a big influential part of culture. And when you like started turning the like fucking liberal progressive bullshit against them, that was I could tell that was going to be the peak.
Yeah,
which I've said, but. The thing that was making me, and I always like anyone that's fighting the system a little bit, like the Charlie Sheen energy, even when
totally,
even when they're losing their mind a little bit.
The crazy thing is everybody's still texting him, and he's like, you know that your text is going on Instagram in 5 minutes. Stop texting him.
Totally.
Or like, does iPhones not have like a disappear mode or something? I don't know. Like,
put him in vanish.
Yeah, vanish mode or something.
You're right though. What are you doing texting Kanye West? You know you're getting
posted. The last
posted.
20 people who texted him wound up on Instagram. Why are you texting?
What are you doing? So you know, unless they all do know and they're basically posting for the gram.
Maybe that's possible.
But the thing that made me laugh was just no one knows what to do with it, and it just keeps popping up, and he won't shut up, and blah blah blah. And there's people like Sean King were posting like, you know, this guy just wants attention, this and that, and it was just making me laugh. The idea of like, this is why he is like in some ways playing like a funny game, because they go, this guy just wants attention, but yet you can't not give it to him.
Yeah,
like we're talking about him, but I don't give a shit. You
yeah,
know
I don't
what
give
mean?
a shit. I like Kanye West.
Yeah, it was almost like I had even because they're all saying this. They're like, the only reason he's doing this is to get attention, because that's the best thing for them to say. Probably,
and he's
right?
like literally one of the masters of getting everybody to talk about
it. And you're
them.
still doing it. He's even saying like, yeah, I'm just doing this. I'm doing this to make my clothing line bigger. I have the White Lives Matter shirt. And then they all post it and they're like, he's just doing this for attention. He goes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
But it kind of reminded me of like, when I was thinking of,
remember when he said he was bankrupt, and then they're like, but he also, everybody was like, oh, this is crazy. He had this like dominated the news cycle, and then it's like, yeah, he had an album come out a week later. Like,
right.
It's all just like,
it's always that. Yeah, of course. It's always sus.
It's always something to sell.
But I was thinking in terms of like conservatives and liberals when I was watching him on Tucker Carlson. I was saying that like,
oh, I did not see that. Was he crazy on there? Or
yeah, I feel like there was a pretty funny part of it, but the first part, there's the thing I was thinking was like, a good way to describe it is like, if you're not invested, conservatives often can be like an eye roll. I think a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like some of the stuff is like an eye roll, and then liberals are more like a mosquito. Like they're, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so they're more like something that you're like, ugh, okay, like a dad that's being corny, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
a dad that's trying to skateboard. That's the kind of energy sometimes.
Yeah,
and then like liberals is more like a mosquito that's buzzing around your room and you're trying to get rid of it, but. I think the thing is, once you can put a piece of glass up and then you see the mosquito and it's just hitting the wall, now it's funny.
Right.
And I think to some way, a reason a lot of people have figured out how to just be on the other side of the glass of the mosquito and just kind of laugh at it.
For sure, yeah. I mean, they are kind of parody. A lot of that stuff you see them, you're like, you're almost a parody of yourself.
Totally a parody.
Yeah. What did he say on Tucker?
Okay, so the funny part was, so he does the White Lives Matter shirt, which was like, you know, 2016 4chan shit, right?
Of course.
So he's doing all, and then he goes on.
With Candace Owens. I didn't know they hung out.
I think, no, he had a thing with her before they were talking, right? But he basically, all of it was stuff that you've heard before kind of thing, nothing too crazy. But the part that I thought was so funny was he's talking to Tucker Carlson. He's like, you know, how did you get the idea to do this White Lives Matter? You know, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then Kanye West goes, he's like, you know, that's the thing, like, you know, as an artist, as a creator, like, sometimes I just know that something is the right idea for the right time, and my energy like comes from God, and this is why he's saying it. It was just like, yeah, I mean, it was on 4chan 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like he's literally the equivalent. Like he's just doing 4chan stuff from 5 years ago and saying like, just it came to me from God.
Yeah.
Like this genius idea I had, and he was like, yeah, you're trolling people, but like you didn't invent that. Like everyone's been doing that for 4 years. Like he's gonna come out with like an Islam's right about women shirt and just be like,
it's okay to be white.
Yeah, it's okay to be white. He's just gonna be like his new line of like frog keck shirts and stuff like that. And it was just the idea that he was this, you know, it's obviously like a funny marketing place, and you're in the position where you can get away with it. I guess to some degree you're somewhat untouchable and you're a billionaire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're not white. Very.
You're not white.
importantly.
All of the things
All
that
the
you can kind of
things.
pull it off, but just to be like straight up doing like 2018 or whatever 4chan stuff, and then talking like about your process was making me laugh.
You go, yeah, all right, man.
You know, he's gonna come out tomorrow and he's gonna have like this genius idea to troll Shia LaBeouf. You know what I mean? Just like straight up like all like OG internet stuff. You know, I came up with this word, social justice warrior and cock, and I just think that he's gonna do a cameo.
wild.
Like I know what he's gonna do. Probably next album is gonna have like James Damore as like a cameo, and he's gonna be like, you know, but the way that he was. The way that he was
He's gonna start
touting
sampling.
how much of a genius he was for doing like what every like edgy streamer
Yeah,
does.
of course. He's
You
gonna
know
like
what I
start
mean?
sampling podcasts.
James Damore talking about.
Yeah, talking about differences between men and women.
Yeah, he's gone full
Auto-tune it.
4chan. He's just saying everyone's. He's one step away from like talking about like the number of countries Jews were kicked out
Of course,
of. though.
yeah.
He's getting
in there.
He's getting real close because he was doing all the blacks are the new Jews NPC stuff. But it was like, I guess he's a good. If anything, he's like a good at like rounding up all the kind of cultural stuff that's popping on the internet and kind of
bringing it like
it to the forefront. But
yeah.
that you didn't like not one of these things. Like you didn't. That was a joke on the internet
Of course.
for 4 years.
I wonder if he tested it out with an All Lives Matter shirt, and he goes, "Nah, well, let's go white."
Yeah.
Like he goes, it doesn't quite say what I want this to say. I want white lives matter.
Like if you wanted to expand on it, he would have said some version of go with like Indian Lives Matter even.
Yeah.
That's not funny, or I take it back.
Yeah.
But my point is,
I mean, I
didn't
guess he
invent
says
it.
he goes, "My kids
It's a guy
are white."
sampling. It's a guy doing like a cover of a song and then talking about his geniusness.
Of course, yeah.
It was a cover. That's the perfect
Yeah,
way to put
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's a band like doing their cover of Smooth Criminal, Alien Ant Farm, and then coming up and talking about their songwriting process.
Yeah, you go,
That's what it seemed like to me, which that was making me laugh.
Yeah, he's on one. He's on one.
Definitely
I
on
wonder if there's any repercussions.
I don't think so because he doesn't have anything really to take away.
Like, does he sell less tickets? Does he lose?
No, he
his
sells
clo-
more tickets.
Yeah, so
He sells more
nice
tickets.
move, Kanye.
His business is doing well, or he'd stop doing all this stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, he probably cares the most.
He
about
does
making
care about
money.
making money. Yeah.
So
I mean, I bought mine.
yeah. Did you buy from him? No, you made it.
No, I
for
made
your
it.
sketch. Yeah. Anyways,
It'd probably be like $250 if he sold it. He doesn't sell them. I looked, but
he doesn't sell them.
no, but they'd be like hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a tough one. Like, you think there's gonna be like the people wearing them?
The what?
Like, do you think you will start seeing people wearing them?
No,
Who are just like,
I can't imagine
nobody?
that pops off like that. No. So I can't imagine he's selling a lot of those. He did say he was like some of his things. He tweets like a madman or his Instagram stories, right? But he was like, he goes, just so you know, Fashion Week happened last week, but you wouldn't know that because my shirt's the only thing that mattered. Like, you know, blah,
I mean,
blah.
kind of.
But you're like, yeah, for sure.
He did over. Yeah.
I mean,
he
if
did
a
overshadow.
presenter went onto like the Grammys and just said the N-word 40 times, that'd probably be the talk of the town too. You know what I mean? Which is I'm not even saying it's like I'm against his trolls or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just he's giving himself a little too much credit.
For sure. And he will not
You're like, if anything,
ever
you go
give
like-
up that they're trolls.
Yeah, you go funny bit. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. But he's like, what do you mean bit?
Yeah.
It's like, what bit?
I think he
goes,
does.
I'm a genius.
I think he said it was funny at one point. He
Oh,
was
really?
kind of going back and forth of it's
I gotta
funny
watch
and
it.
not funny.
I gotta
But
watch this.
I don't know.